I think that, first and foremost, it's about Great Lakes priorities that have the biggest impact on the Great Lakes themselves and on the people who live near them and rely on them. So we step back and think about what's this phenomenal diversity of ways that people across the Great Lakes region experience the Great Lakes. Some of those are positive experiences, some of those are negative. And the health of the Great Lakes is really firmly linked to the people who live near them having those experiences and who depend on them for drinking water, for livelihood, for recreation and play. And so we work to have a list of priorities that reflects all or as many of those experiences as we can.
All we have to look at is last year and the accomplishments that this region made in advancing Great Lakes priorities through the last Congress. For example, Molly noted that Congress passed and the President signed into law the reauthorization for another 5 years of the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, in boosting funding over the next 5 years to get us to that target of $475 million. And those resources are critical to advancing the restoration and protection of the Great Lakes for everyone.
And I've had this question from a number of our supporters and other people as we've rolled out this policy agenda, asking why did we list environmental justice as priority number one, both for the Biden administration and for Congress? And what does that kind of more specifically mean for the Great Lakes? Crystal, you were just touching on this a little bit, so I'm going to start with you on that question.
Sure. I think the first question is why not? Why not? This is the reflection of the listening that we've done across the Great Lakes. And so we've listened to communities. We've talked extensively about our report where step one was shut up and listen. We've heard folks, and it's the next step after listening to folks is actually responding with action. And so we've responded to what we've heard and incorporated what we've heard into our suite of priorities. And so now environmental justice is near and dear to our hearts. It's a prominent issue for both urban and rural communities alike. And so we see water as a unifier across the aisle, across the State House, City Council, and the federal government. And so it's an issue that we're hoping to dig in. We also realize that we have to appeal to the diverse group of people across the Great Lakes, from folks who are boaters and folks who depend on the Great Lakes for their livelihood, but then also the folks whose only connection to the lakes is that it's their source for tap water.
Listen, we can't separate the health of the Great Lakes from the people who live here. The Great Lakes aren't healthy until everyone in the region has access to safe, clean, and affordable drinking water and sewage service.
That's the good news side of this story, is that over the last 10 years and the investments through the GLRI, we definitely are seeing results in the lakes coming back to life and being more resilient to the changes that our warming climate is having in the region.